Ready for me? Are you ready for me? Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. That thing feels. That's what I've been seeing on other YouTube channel. But Happy New Year, and you are welcome to my channel. Wow, it feels so surreal. I never actually I didn't have any plans of starting YouTube or putting up any video on YouTube in 2024 because first of all, I don't know if it's something that I can be consistent at or it's something I should be doing right now. But the reason why I decided to sit down here and record this video is because I told myself this year, in every format possible, baby girl, you're going to document, right? You're going to document your journey. So I've been doing that for a while, with articles like on Medium, especially with my career as someone working in a product role. And I've also been doing that on Instagram, and I'll get to that later in this video. But this is just a huge win for me that I told myself, like, no, you're going to sit down and you're going to record a long video, at least something that in years to come, right? You're going to sit down, you're going to watch yourself, you're going to look at how far you've come and smile, be proud of yourself. So basically, I'm just recording this video for documentation's sake, but if it inspires someone out there in the process, that's a win-win for me, right? Okay, so you heard right. I've been working at Spotify for 1 year, like today. Oh well, let me not say today, the 9th of January 2024 makes it 1 year of me working with Spotify, and believe me, it has been an amazing journey. Take it from someone that woke up one morning and said, okay, I want to build a career in product management, and here I am, right, in a product role at Spotify. When I was building my career, I mean, some of the companies that I heard about a lot back then was, people like Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and I didn't really know much about Spotify. That was when I was starting, my tech journey, not now or not last year. Okay. I've been in tech for, like, should I say 5 years now or 6? I can't remember. I don't know whether it's up to 5 years. 2017 to now is how many years? You do the calculations or you do the math, okay? And it's been a journey. I mean, I started as a developer, and if I choose to continue this channel, maybe I'll share my journey of how I actually transitioned from being a developer to being a product manager, or being someone that works in a product role. Right now, I work as an associate product manager with Spotify here in London, United Kingdom. And like I said earlier, it's been an amazing journey, and I'm just here to share what the experience has been like. And I'm going to break it into different sections. For now, I have a rough, and you see me looking down here, I have my iPad with me because I had to put some things down. This is my first video, and I don't want to be doing and trying to remember a lot of things. So I have a couple of points I want to go through. So I'll start with what it was like before the application. So just a little background where I was in my journey, how I came across, the role, how I prepared. No, I won't really go into details how I prepared for the interview, but I will just give like an overview, because the focus of this video is to talk about, what the journey has been like working with Spotify, not even before, right? The lessons learned, things I love about my role, things I love about the company, and yeah. So let's get right into it. The first one, so before the application, this was in 2022. I was doing my master's then. First of all, I came to the UK in 2021 when I came to wrap up my BSc. So I was expected to do a top up degree to get my BSc. So I finished my BSc in 2021, started my master's in that same 2021, and was scheduled to finish in 2022, right? And between 2021 and 2022, I'd already told myself, I was like, baby girl, and this is just a rushed version. I will give you guys details later. I was like, baby girl, it's time for you to build a career, right? I was a developer. I loved coding, but I discovered something about myself that was going to sustain me long term, or a mission kind of that I was willing to commit to long term, and I needed a career that would set me up for success, and product management fits perfectly. Now at the time I was working part-time with a company and that's Grad Prentice. God bless. See, let me not say anything. And that's Grad Prentice, and I was working as a UI UX designer, more of like a facilitator and trainer. But one thing I loved about that company is how they were very invested in my career journey. So when I decided to transition into product management, they were in full support, and I started, learning more about product management. I started applying it in that role before I got another part-time job where I was hired as a junior product manager. Between 2021 and 2022, was that it? Yes, between 2021 and 2022, I was doing my master's, right? Late 2021, going into 2022, and I started looking for jobs, right? I was in London, visa situation. I didn't want to do the whole post-study visa and all, and I started applying for roles. Normal thing, you know how the job market is, like rejection here and there. I got tired, I got frustrated. Thankfully, I think I was part of an initiative, 10,000 Black interns. So I got assigned to GSK. I got an internship. Not exactly what I wanted to do. It was a marketing communications role. Not exactly what I wanted to do, but at the time I needed money. But I loved working there. I learned a lot, right, about the pharmaceutical industry, and I was working there. At some point I got frustrated. I stopped applying for product management roles because I was like, what's all this? There was a time I even did one interview, and I thought I did like 2 stages, and I thought I didn't get to the next stage, and I just forgot about it. And these people, they reached out to me 2 months later, but long story short, I didn't get the job because they couldn't sponsor my visa. Now fast forward to August, I think July, August 2022. At this point, I was tired. I was frustrated. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on finishing this GSK internship, and I'm also going to focus on finishing my dissertation, because at the time I was working on my master's dissertation. That was July, August, and it was due, I think, September, and I was to wrap up school October. My visa was to expire November. Is it November or December? But everything was going to expire 2022, late 2022. As God may have it, I was just on LinkedIn, and I came across like this role on LinkedIn, like the associate product manager role. It's actually a rotational program, and I will give more details. And I just applied. Like, believe me, I didn't even think about it twice. For you to know that I was already frustrated and I was already done. I just applied and I forgot about it. And a week later, I got an email saying that hi Miracle, we'd love to proceed with your application, jump on a call for an interview, things like that. And I was like, is it the same LinkedIn that I've been getting a lot of rejection, or is another one? But I was excited because at the time I want to prioritize a lot of I don't want to make sure this thing is on. I want to prioritize a lot of self-awareness, and I've learned so much about myself. I had learned so much about myself, what I wanted to pursue at least in the next 5 years, and no pressure. Okay, me being confident in this took a lot of training and a lot of right, is it failures or a lot of trial and error? Yeah, trial and error is the right word. So I jumped on this call, and I introduced myself. Tell me about yourself, the normal questions. I answered those questions, and I left it, right? 2 weeks later, I think a week later, because they were very clear in the job description what the interview process was going to be like. So by I think 15th of August or late August, if you moved to the last stage, you will be informed, right? So at that point I was already calculating, okay, I was already in GSK, should I pursue like an internal role? Because GSK is not exactly like a, should I say, technology driven or product, it's not like a product led company. It's mostly like marketing. They do have product managers there, but it's not like, I don't know how to explain it honestly. So I was just in between, okay, preparing for interviews, like the interview for Spotify, and also saying, should I just put my foot forward and explore roles within GSK? But deep down I didn't want to be there. Like the people are amazing, but the kind of career I wanted, I didn't see myself there. Then Spotify came along. I went through the interview, first stage, second stage. At the second stage, it dawned on me that, baby girl, this is actually getting real. Like, do you know what is going on? You're there playing, because I was actually, like, I was already tired. I had my dissertation, so I was like, okay, I'll just put in the effort. But long story short, I got the role. I was in tears that day. You don't want to know how I screamed, and I was in tears because everything, it was a perfect fit. The values of the company, the role itself, the opportunity, even like the fact that it was in the music industry. Because for those of you that don't know, I'm a singer. So outside of work, my life is music basically. So if I'm not working during the week, I have rehearsals on weekends and things like that. Long story short, I got the role and I got it in August. I got the letter, I think, and I'll put it up here. I think in August, late August 2022, and I was scheduled to resume January 9th of January 2023. Yes, that was last year. That was last year. So let's talk about the RPM program. It's 15 months, and as an APM, you are expected, and not just expected, the plan is for you to rotate, move between teams every 5 months. So 3 rotations. And for every rotation, you have a mentor, guiding you, like a senior product manager or a product manager too. But you have a mentor, right? You work closely with in your team. So I think that's just it about the program, and you have a manager throughout your rotation. And one thing I love about the RPM program is how structured it is, and see, they are very intentional about your growth. Like, you just have to take that opportunity and milk it, like take out the juice out of that opportunity. So I think that's it about the rotation. Now, lessons I learned or I've learned so far. This is just a few. Believe me, I could go on and on, but I just decided to highlight this thing. When I started my role at Spotify as an associate product manager, the first thing that dawned on me, like, I even told my manager, not just my manager, I told my mentors, I was like, product management in theory and product management in reality, or let me not say in reality, in practice, because I feel like it depends on the scenario, the situation, the context, it kind of changes, right? I think the principles are the same, but the application, they are kind of different depending on team, problem space, company goals, objective, things like that. So the practice is different. And I was like, my God, this is a lot. Like this is a lot. Honestly, this is a lot. And that was one thing that stood out for me. But I'm so grateful to God that I had the opportunity to, do this early in my career. Like, I had experience, working with a startup. Remember I said that I was a junior product manager. It wasn't really a startup, but it wasn't corporate, like Spotify. But I was able to apply some knowledge there. But with Spotify, it was kind of different. And I really enjoyed the ride, even though I cried a couple of times or a few times. And that was just me dealing with fear and imposter syndrome. So yeah, number one, product management in theory, what you read on the internet. And I feel like these days, because product management is now like growing in popularity in the tech space, in the industries, there are just a lot of opinions out there how you should do stuff and things like that. But my dear, anyway, I'll address it in another video. So it's different from product management in practice. Number two is, as a product manager, your soft skills will be tested. And this is my personal experience. I'm not saying that it's the standard, right? But if you can relate, right, let me know in the comments section. As a product manager, your soft skills will be tested. What do I mean about so? See, I learned so much about myself in the last 1 year. I thought I knew myself. I was saying I'm a self-awareness advocate. I still am, right? I still prioritize self-awareness, and it has helped me greatly in my role. But like, it was really tested in the professional setting. So I think I had a very good grasp or good, control of my soft skills outside of work. So when I'm relating with people in church, other aspect of my life, I think I'm making progress there. But when it comes to work, professional environment, number one, communication. That's where they say that communication is it's very, like, not very, sorry, communication is not just me talking to you right now. There's written communication, right? There is verbal communication, and there are other types of communication. I will look for something to put on the screen. And I learned so much about written communication. Like, a lot of people think as product managers, right, we do a lot. Like PMs, we do a lot. And I'm not going to go into that, but you see, communication, I feel like that's something that is, yes, strategy is there, requirement gathering is there. Even requirement gathering involves communication. Strategy involves communication. So I really learned a lot about written communication, especially in my first rotation, right, where you have to update stakeholders about certain things, and you need to ensure that you are as clear as possible, as clear as you can be, so that nobody reads anything or meaning into what you're saying, right? And even when you're reaching out to an external team, a team that is not your own team, for help, for questions, you need to be clear about what you are asking, right? You give context, you ask the question, and tell them to reach out to you if they have further question. And this is something I've grown into. Like, I'm still growing, right, because I'm still here. But the entire 1 year, there are days where I look at my Slack messages and I'm like, Mimi, you have grown, and it's one thing to communicate. Like, I'm still on the written communication. It's one thing to communicate, it's another thing to be confident in what you're communicating. Like, there are days where I will stall on sending message on a Slack channel because I am overthinking. I am scared. Oh, is this the right thing? So at the start of my rotation, I had to like check in with my mentor almost every time before I send something to the channel, the public channel or whatever channel. But right now, right, and context to it is that I'm actually solely leading my project or product right now. So there's no how I'm gonna hide behind mentor, even though like I can still ask my mentor if I need help. So communication is one of it. Written communication, presentation skills. Oh my God, I had the opportunity to facilitate a lot of meetings. Not a lot. I would have done a lot if not for me always chickening out. Does that make sense? Yeah, but I'm better now. Okay, I'm better. My presentation skills went up. The next one on my list is still on, as a product manager, your soft skills will be tested. So I say number one, communication. Number two, I don't think this one is about it testing you. I think this one is more of you being intentional about the people you work with. So how do I put this now? Me, naturally, I'm very intentional about anybody I work with. Any leadership capacity you find me in, like, I can be very, very protective of my people. Why am I saying that? You need to be intentional. Like, I learned how to build relationships with people. Like, actually care for people. So it's not just about activities. Oh, you're only reaching out to these people or this person because you want them to do something. Especially, how product managers and engineers are always at each other's truth. Yeah, but that was not the case for me. Like, I was able to build genuine connections with people that even when I reached out for something, they were more than willing to help me out. And it was not a thing of, product manager versus engineer or product manager versus stakeholder. Like, there was genuine relationship. Like we'll talk about other things. I learned how to build relationships with especially business stakeholders. Guys, I had the best time with my business stakeholders. I'm not even joking. Like, they were my favorite people. I think it's now that then I think my second rotation, I had the best time with the engineers. Like, I even have a work buddy and I'm still owing him. I feel like he's going to watch this thing. I'm still owing him like lunch. I'm sorry, we're going to have that lunch, but yes, I had the best time building relationships. It's beyond like communication. This is where you have to now apply empathy, right? Apply patience. So because sometimes people are going through things and sometimes their response, even my relationship with my mentors, I enjoyed it so much. I was able to speak up. I was able to be there for them, stand in for them. And yeah, the next thing is time management. Now, if you know Spotify, you know that we are a remote first company. We there's kind of like a hybrid kind of, you can go fully remote or hybrid, although like it's advised, like if you're early in your career, and by early in your career, it's not like I've been in like product management, early in your career within the company, it's advised that you take a more hybrid approach to build your network. But that means that remote, meaning that you kind of choose whether to be like in the office more often or you stay at home. And that means time management is very important. And I'm going to talk about time management in two ways or two areas. I don't know. Take one. And one is personal time management, and that one is project wise, or like whatever it is you're working on. So you being able to do something when you say you're going to do it. Okay, today this is my to do. I'm going to reach out to this stakeholder, that stakeholder. I'm going to sit down and work on the strategy talk between this time and this time. Especially if you're working from home, is very important. That was tested, guys. That was tested, but I pulled through. Like, I'm here, aren't I? Then for project, I think it's this my last rotation that I'm really learning a lot about timelines. And I've learned about it before in theory, but in practice, timelines, roadmaps, and really owning it and making sure when you say we are doing this time, you're going to do it that time. But another thing, you need to also be flexible and be open to change. I feel like I've been talking. The next one is problem solving, adaptability. One thing you understand as a PM, this will be tested, your ability to adapt and pivot, because there'll always be times where you feel like you've made progress or you finalized on a decision, and the next day you come up and you realize that you need to make changes. So your ability to adapt, your ability to my light just went off. One minute. Your ability to adapt will be tested. The next thing is we're still on lessons learned. Imposter syndrome will never really go away. Yeah. As you grow in your career, right, you'll find better ways of navigating it, but it doesn't really go. So it's kind of like August visitor. Either it comes every day or it comes depending on the situation. So take it from someone that is pretty young, and I'm going to talk about this in another video. I don't like talking about my age, but I'm adding age every year. You're going to be working with people with 10 years of experience. I had one stakeholder that had 20 years of experience, but at the same time, I had to do my work as a product manager. So imposter syndrome will will never go away. I think I have a podcast on this, how I deal with imposter syndrome. I'm going to put that in the description box. But yeah, know this and know peace. You should not be, I don't think you should be finding ways to remove it entirely. Just find ways to navigate it. So it's not about the imposter syndrome. I think the major thing is your response. So are you going to give into it, or are you going to leverage in things that will help you overcome it per time? Emphasis on per time. The next thing is, I know that there is this thing that the internet has done, and I don't know whether it's only me, but kind of made it feel like as a PM you're expected to do everything. Yes, we wear many hats, but depending on the resources that are made available or are given to you, please be okay asking for help or letting other people do certain things and be okay. I know they say the PM is expected to do this. Ultimately, you're responsible for the product. Ultimately, you're expected to make most decisions or certain decisions that are critical to the success and progress of the product. But you also need to recognize that you are working with the best hands. You are working with people experienced in their field. So you don't need to try to do everything yourself, if that makes sense. Don't try to do everything yourself. Sometimes be okay wearing the hat of a facilitator, where you're not exactly doing product work in quotes, but it's basically you bringing different people experience in their field and you facilitating the conversation. I did this recently with my product marketing manager and growth manager, someone from the growth team, and it was beautiful, right? We're working on a messaging strategy, and as much as I have more context about the product, the strategy, things like that, in that moment I decided to wear the hat of a facilitator, and it made things so much easier because these people are experienced in their field. They will be able to ask questions or bring things to light that you would never have thought of if you were doing things on your own. So that's another thing. Be okay, wear the hat of a facilitator sometimes. You don't have to always, I'm a product manager, this is what we are going to do. This is the product requirement document. It's fine, but depending on the situation, right? It's okay to work with other people, delegate, allow some people drive things, right? While you still oversee the whole success of the product. The next thing is framework over templates. And maybe I'm going to, if I continue with YouTube, I'm going to work on a video just to address this. Framework over templates. I struggle with this at the beginning of my rotation because I feel like there was supposed to be doing as a PM or someone working in product, you're expected to do something in a particular way. So for example, you want to work on a product requirement document, it should be like this. This is the template. So most times we limit ourselves because we feel okay, prioritization. Of course, there are frameworks over templates. So there's the Moscow framework, there's the Kano model, things like that. But it should also be okay setting up your own framework for prioritization, and not just out of the blues place. Leverage knowledge from existing frameworks and work with it depending on the situation or the product or context you find yourself. I learned so much about this, and I just summarize it into frameworks over templates. Don't limit yourself. Don't say, okay, this is how they say user and product requirement document is expected to be. This is what I learned in my bootcamp, so it has to be like this. No. Read the room, understand your team dynamics, and try to come up with something. This is where your problem solving skills will be tested. Come up with something that will help the team, be more effective, efficient, and make progress. Now, I feel I've gone through my list. Favorite part of product management. When you see something that you were part of, come to life and you see it in the hands of users and people are talking about it, trust me, it's a thing of joy. That's one thing I love about product management. I'm not saying you can't get this with you being a developer. You can definitely, because you're in charge of driving the how, right? Coming up with sustainable technical architectures, things like that. But it's just too beautiful after you go through shege, right? We'll go through stress of bringing everybody together, right? Driving the strategy, working with the engineering manager and things like that. And you now see it in the hands of user. In fact, that was the highlight of my rotation, my first rotation. The product where I led the content strategy. Actually, I worked a lot with the local teams to just ensure that the content, right, we're ready and, we had the right content, relevant content for the market we're working with. And it felt good. I'm going to put it somewhere on the screen. It was a Ramadan experience. It's out now and I'm so glad. And I learned a lot. I learned so much. But at the end of the day, that joy that people are talking about what you were part of is amazing. That's the highlight of me being a product manager. And yeah, also working with people from different backgrounds. I love, see, one thing that if you meet any of my mentors, my manager, my stakeholder, one thing that you find that is very consistent in, like, if you tell them to describe Miracle, tell you about Miracle, is the fact that I ask questions a lot, and not just any question, like valuable questions. That's something that's very consistent, that's been very consistent in my feedback. And that's because I am genuinely fascinated by how much people know in their roles. And I'm always looking for ways to make it easier for us to work together. So stakeholder management has to be something that is really dear to my heart, because in stakeholder management, you learn more about people. You learn more about their working style. You learn more about, you can build relationships basically. So that's another thing I'll highlight, and there are other things, but I'll just leave these two. So what's my plan for the year? Continue to grow my product craft, like go deep. I feel like I have the width, but I need the depth. Basically, I've had fair share of exploration, like UI UX developer. I now want to go deep into my craft, which is amazing. I've been doing that. Don't think I've not been going deep into my craft. I've been doing that, but now I'm now going deep into industries. I've gotten a good grasp of product management to an extent, and I'm still practicing it. It gets better with practice, but I want to now dive into more industry focused stuff, like maybe fintech, AI, data, things like that, and also help people in the process. So I'm a giver by nature. Like I love sharing knowledge. I love helping people with their progress journey. So that's something I'm committed to doing with my brand, Product Sis. So do well to follow that page on Instagram and say hi in the DMs. Let me know you're coming from YouTube, and I hope to help a lot of people. I know product management can be a lot, and you need that environment. You need that support that will help you thrive as a PM, build a sustainable career. And I'm here for you. So that's it. And maybe show up on YouTube more. It wasn't in my plan for this year, so I don't know if I want to do this. And if I actually do this, maybe I'll show up once a month. But yeah, I've come to the end of my video basically. So happy 1 year Spotiversary to me, like we call it. I'm super excited. It will definitely not end here. Cheers to more wins in my product management journey, or in my product journey. And I can't wait, to carry you all along. Let me know if this inspired you. Drop one thing that you picked from this video in the comment section, and I'll be there to reply as many people as I can. Till next time. Bye.